We do see the euro coming under pressure. Right now it's at 108 versus the dollar. And it's not entirely clear how the bailout of Italy, the bailout of Spain, the bailout of these countries in Euroland that are having problems is going to work. What do you think about the common currency?
Yeah, so we wrote a piece called, and I think this will resonate with most people, this title. It's called Each Unhappy Family is Unhappy in Its Own Way. And that's the opening lines from Orica and Nino, and we all know that now that we're in this kind of isolation. Now, the risk, the breakup risk in Europe is at its lows. You know, nobody's worried at the moment. What worries us more than anything is once we come out of the situation, then you scratch your head. Look, the government debt to GDP in the Eurozone is absolutely fine as an aggregate, but when you look at all the subcomponents, government debt to GDP is flying all over the place. So what are the common rules? What are they? How does this work? Are we going to get common issuance? And usually with the Europeans, you've got to take them to the precipice of a mountain, and just as they're going to fall over, they go, no, whoa, okay, let's do something. So I think there will be pressure on the euro, and I think that's why the dollar is absolute king, because people who say to you, well, I don't think the dollar's going to do well, the next question you ask them is, so what are you going to buy? And that is the big puzzle that nobody can answer that is dollar bearish. They all want to sell the dollar, but won't tell you what to buy. And you can't really, at the moment, I think, buy the euro as a substitute for the dollar. There's still some of these kind of issues that they need to deal with. This family looks a bit unhappy at the moment. And once we come out of this, so what are the common rules? I mean, debt and fiscal policy was one of the anchors of the whole Eurozone, and now that's just completely gone out the window. So how do they solve that problem? And I think it's with difficulty, and hence the euro, stays under kind of pressure.
What if they do go to some sort of shared debt, which, by the way, from my seat here in Berlin, doesn't look likely because the Germans are still dead set against it. But if Europe does create some kind of shared debt, Eurobonds, Corona bonds, whatever you want to call them, what does that do to the currency?
Well, that then shows that there is some willingness to push together for some common type of issuance, and I think that would be quite possible. But Steve Major's basically arguing with the ECB, heading to buy 50% of the debt. The debt's being neutralized anyway by mistake, not really on purpose. So, we're getting there anyway. But the problem is, before they do that, they usually have a series of rows and disagreements, and they're made public, and that is reflected in the currency. So, yes, I think the euro goes down before it goes up, and so it'll come under pressure. But ultimately, they'll sort it out. They'll come to something, but it doesn't mean it won't be a painful process.